Part 3 update of the unstable one, other parts down below. She has told me on a couple of occasions that she thinks I will revert to the old me. I think she needs assurance that I won't. I can tell her that this is the permanent new me, but I don't think she will believe it. Maybe as time goes by, she may become a believer. I will not deny that I neglected my wife in the past and that I didn't spend as much time with my kids as I do now. It took a wake-up call for me to realize all of this. I wish my wife could see this as genuine and real. I'm not hesitant at all with showing my kids how much I love them, but I am with my wife, because she has built up this wall around her. It seems whenever I try to have an intimate conversation, she gets defensive and angry towards me. So, it is hard not to be hesitant towards somebody like that. I would love to shower her with affection, but I keep getting knocked back down. She doesn't feel safe with me right now. I need to show her I am a safe place for her. Sure, her anger and frustration towards me is upsetting, but I don't react like I used to. In the past, I would turn that anger and frustration back on her. I don't do that now. Instead, I try to calmly and thoughtfully see why she is so upset, and that makes her more upset. I have not told my wife that these changes are permanent because I'm afraid she will blow it off, but she needs to hear it from me anyway. The love I am showing my kids, the same love that she sees as clear as day and is resentful for, is the same love that I want to show her. If she lets me. I don't know why she thinks I am trying to use the kids against her. Maybe she feels I am trying to attract their love away from her. All the stuff I am doing with them, baths, reading stories, playing, taking to school, etc., is part of my plan, and these things are supposed to benefit her, so why would she be upset? This confuses me. How can I convince her otherwise? I love myself with the improvements I've made. I feel much happier, content, accepting, patient, loving, honest, real, open, in touch with my feelings, more understanding, slower to judge, less critical, less angry, less frustrated. The list could go on and on. I really see so much potential in my if only my wife could see this too. I am eating and feeling better now, and I must have put back on 10 to 15 pounds since my crash diet. The whole situation doesn't bother me as much, and I am not as obsessed with it, although it may seem that way by the number of posts that I create. I'm beginning to understand that many things are out of my control, but I can definitely control me. If this turns out to be a physical affair, I will be crushed. That is all I can say about that. I am eating and feeling better now, and I must have put back on 10 to 15 pounds since my crash diet. The whole situation doesn't bother me as much, and I am not as obsessed with it, although it may seem that way by the number of posts that I create. I'm beginning to understand that many things are out of my control, but I can definitely control me. If this turns out to be a pee, I will be crushed and will want to die. That is all I can say about that. Boy, it doesn't look good right now. We had a conversation during dinner and I feel really awful. My wife is full of resentment towards me. She says I was not happy when she became pregnant with my kids and didn't do the stuff she expected of me. She said she loved me but doesn't think things will change now. I never spent the time with my kids and that I never wanted her after the birth of our kids. So much resentment that I don't know if I can recover from this. I am sad. I told her this new me is permanent, but she doubts it. I told her I want to make it work, even for the kids, but she doesn't know if she wants to. She is willing to split everything, even the kids. I am so sad right now. What do I do if she asks for a separation? When she comes home from work, she takes off her wedding ring. Those hurts. She has agreed to MC but doesn't think it will do any good. I need to find a good MC in the Toronto area that will help me. I can't afford a heck. She said that if she had a place to go after exposure that she would have left me. I don't know if I can ever recover from this. What do I do now? If MC doesn't work, I think this is finished. I love her so very much that I am crushed. She doesn't love me right now, and I don't know if she will ever get that back. Well, I'm up early this morning as my DD is not feeling well. My WW has left for work without a bye. Just a remark for me at what time to get my DS up for school. Lemon man, I hear what you are saying, but I am having a tough time focusing on anything else right now. You know how it is. I'm sure I will get to the point where I can focus on myself and do things for myself, but I'm not there yet. It will come though. Why doesn't my WW see all the times that I come home from work early when our kids are sick, take them to the doctor, or stay home for them like today? I had to remind her to schedule my DS 5-year checkup, or who knows when she would get to it. When my kids have a high fever at night, she doesn't seem concerned and will sleep. I can't sleep when my DS or DD has a fever of 104. I'm constantly cooling them down and checking on them, while sometimes she just sleeps. How can she say I don't spend time with them when she comes home 1 hour after me and she only has 2 hours to spend with them? And during that time, she might be sitting down on the couch or working out. Hey, I'm starting to sound like my WW when she rewrites our history. I better stop. Sorry, but I just need to vent for a while. She seems to be shutting herself down to me, really withdrawing herself from me. I really feel like shutting it down on my end too. It seems pointless to even try right now since none of my actions towards her is working. It's just like Dr. Harley talked about pouring water into a tank with a hole in it. It just comes out the hole without filling up. That sums it up for me right now. I want to start snooping again, but almost feel like what is the point? I'm afraid of what I may find. She has so little care for me right now it makes me sick. I feel like a piece of the furniture sometimes. Why can't she see the good in me, all of the good times we had, instead of focusing on the crap stuff? I didn't get a very good night's sleep since at about 1:30 I roll her over closer to my WW by accident, and she asked me to move back to my side. Her lack of love and care for me is so obvious right now. She actually said we can split the time with the kids. My 1000 and especially DS would be devastated if that were to happen. He looks up to me like an icon. I could not bear to tell him Mommy and Daddy will be living separately because Mommy doesn't love Daddy anymore. Can you imagine what that would do to him? Mommy doesn't love Daddy anymore. Maybe she won't love me either someday. I cannot deny that she loves our kids immensely, but what is she thinking? She puts her work ahead of her family, and for that I resent her. It seems the more love she loses for me that it goes to the kids. Does that sound strange? I feel like I'm being treated like trash by her and I am starting to hate her for it. There was never any NC, just a fake attempt by her to minimize contact. I don't know what the contact is like. I know they talk for work reasons, but I don't know what else. I may place a tape recorder in her car to find out what she talks about on her drive. She has agreed to MC but seems reluctant and doesn't think it will do any good. I would agree that she hasn't gone through any withdrawal. I saw some improvement after exposure when she was home for a while, but she has quickly digressed. This is what I would like to happen. 1. D-Day number 2 with undeniable proof of ERPA. 2. Request NC with OM, which would entail quitting her job. I don't know how to enforce this one. 3. Enforce radical honesty. What happens if I request NC and she decides to ignore me and continue working there? That will really tick me off. I will be installing a tape recorder in her car today and see what I hear since she does most of her conversations from her work cell phone. I really want some good evidence so I can take this to the next level. I don't know how much more exposure I can do, but I have asked her family to back off, and if I find more evidence of contact, I will let them go ahead and do what they feel is best. I could also re-expose to her work, but I don't know how successful that would be. I think if I finally catch her in the A, she won't be able to deny it anymore and I should have some more bargaining power, I hope. Also, at that point I will feel better about doing what I have to do to save our marriage. I hope our MC appointment can knock some sense into her, but I doubt it. I can't tell if she is in the fog right now or not. Some babble yesterday with her revisionist history, but other than that she is pretty cool. The last time prior to D-Day she was very frustrated and angry most of the time, even with the kids. Now she is not as angry and doesn't seem as frustrated. What could this be a sign of? She is definitely pushing me away, so I'm backing off also. I have been kind of aloof towards her today and will do that again tomorrow. I think she got used to me trying so hard that this should confuse her a little. I think I am way too predictable right now, which is not really attractive to anyone. Time to throw some change-ups. I was getting tired of being ignored and feeling like an idiot. My self-respect was taking a beating and I wanted back. I need to add some mystery to my life. I was telling her everything I did with no success. Now I will only tell when asked. She doesn't tell me anything and I am getting tired of asking only to be shrugged off by her. She is a grown woman and her actions will have consequences. I'm not abandoning plan A, just need to pull back a little before my giver gets burned out too fast. Yes, I'm beginning to think this is more than an EO or is going that route. We have MC scheduled for Tuesday night, but I'm not getting my hopes up. She doesn't seem really interested and I don't think it will go past one session. A funny thing is happening to me over the past day or two and I don't know if this is a typical stage for a BS or just me. I am more at ease with the whole situation. I'm starting to see that I can't force my WW back to me. She needs to make that choice herself. I'm starting to see what she feels smothered by me. The questions about the R and OM. It is like I need her, but I am realizing that I don't need her. I love her very much and would love for her to want to be with me, but I don't feel like I need her anymore. Now that I am realizing that I am starting to feel more at peace with myself. I haven't totally become at ease, but something has happened over the past day or two that is giving me peace about the whole situation. I don't know if it was because I felt so hopeless earlier in the week and felt like I had hit bottom after hoping she would recover, but I'm starting to feel like whatever happened, I will be fine. I don't know if this feeling lasts or it is just a temporary stage in the BS process. I'm not as preoccupied with what my wife is doing or who she is talking to. Don't get me wrong, the anxiety is still there, but it is nowhere near what it was. I can actually sit down and watch a TV program or eat a full meal. My WW is suffering and I can tell that even though she is putting on a strong facade. I don't know what is going through her mind, but she must be torn with feelings. Update. Well, nothing really unusual happened this weekend except that I sense my W continued attempt at disconnecting from me. She wants to open up a separate bank account and is still cold and distant. We talked last night for about an hour about the R and it seems the major items for her are the resentment or my past neglect and the alienation to her work and family due to exposure. She said she used to be so proud to be my husband and now she is ashamed of me. She said she doesn't want to show me any affection and doesn't want any from me. Her birthday is coming up and she asked me not to get anything for her since she would be unappreciative of it. We are basically living as separated in the same house even though we are sleeping in the same bed. It is an awkward feeling. I'm really at a loss at what to do now. How do I stop this slide into the abyss? She feels like she has no one to go to and feels unsafe. She doesn't trust me. I asked her what her dream come true would be and she said to take the kids and move far, far away. It truly feels like a hopeless situation right now. She doesn't feel like she will ever feel love for me again. She just wants to be friends. We have a MC session tomorrow, but I'm worried it might do more damage than good since she will bring up these bad feelings again and the MC might say there is no hope for us. She also told me that every one of her friends told her to leave me because of what I have done. I don't know how to deal with this. I'm trying to pull back from her but it doesn't seem to be helping. She just seems to disconnect more from me. In our talk yesterday my W said a few things that she said upset her a little. First, she gets upset when I am in a good mood when she gets home and say hi babe. She says she doesn't want me to feel like things are fine, but I told her I am learning to be in a good mood most of the time as opposed to how I used to act. Also, she said she thinks the kids love me more because I do more fun stuff with them while she has to do housework like cleaning the toilets. I told her I try to do as much housework as I think I should, but if she wants me to do more I will gladly do it. Domestic support is not one of her great qualities, but she does enough just to get by. Now that she said this, I will try increasing the amount of work I do so she can have time with the kids. She feels like I am too easy with the kids so they love me more. I have been doing a lot more fun things with the kids since my plan and I feel she is interpreting it as giving away the store. Her one example was when my 3-year-old Dee said, "Daddy, can you put on my shoes?" and I said, "Sure, sweetie." I guess I should have said you can put on your own shoes. Was that wrong? Currently I do the following most of the time. Load and unload the dishwasher, vacuum, tidy up, make the beds more than her since plan A. I just get the feeling things are spiraling quickly downward. I don't want to give her a desperate or scared feeling but that is how I feel. I need to disconnect a little so I don't push her away more. When I see stuff like her not wearing her wedding ring or wanting a separate account or her buying real estate magazines it makes me anxious. I need to get over that feeling. Based on what I heard from her phone conversations she was enamored with the idea of having like her even though there were past issues with him. At that point my WW said the past is the past, I'm only concerned with the present. He may have lied to her in the past have done something that she didn't like. Also, when she talked to and he told her of a girl that he went on a date with but didn't like my WW replied really, in a very happy way, almost like she was so happy that she was not interested in someone else. When she talked to him, she was so happy and asked so many questions even saying am I bugging you? So, I really feel like she has feelings for It was my WW girlfriend who told my WW that likes her. She is separated and may be feeding my WW with the image of a happy single mom. So, tonight is our first MC session with this new MC and I am a little nervous. I hope she is able to get my WW to look at the positives. My WW has been taking off all her jewelry when she gets home from work including her wedding and engagement ring. On the weekend she didn't even wear her wedding ring. Last night for some reason, she took off all her jewelry when she got home, but left on her wedding ring. I know it was only one night, but I will monitor it. I'm not sure why she did this since it would have been easy just to remove everything as she had been doing for a week now. I called her during the day to let her know that our original MC session was cancelled and I considered not rescheduling it until my WW asked me when is the rescheduled time. I was surprised she asked, since normally I would have to always instigate this topic. She actually showed some interest. I was expecting her just to avoid the whole topic altogether. Well, we went to our first MC session last night and it was very sad. Based on last night I don't know if our M will survive. We were with the C together but the C spent the first 45 minutes talking to my W. She is so hurt by the exposure to her work and family. The C wants her to write down why she feels so humiliated. She also asked us to not ask each other about anything unless for the kids or finances until the next session. She basically tried to get us to reveal how we felt during all these events. My W cried a lot and said some things that hurt me a lot. Like no emotional attraction to me, wants a separation, will never forgive me, etc. My W was reluctant to go to the second session but the C convinced her to try. The C tried to focus on some of my strong points and that I am capable of change, but my W seemed resigned. The C really tried to show me how much I hurt my W and I did see that and cried at one point. I don't know how this will all end up but right now my W has a lot of pain which I don't know if she will ever get over. I hope the second session gives us something to work on. I wonder if the C wanted us to get the emotions out now to try and start the healing during future sessions. My W cuts are deep and may never heal. I don't know when or if she will address this. You see, I think my W is so focused on a separation right now that maybe my C is trying to buy time with her. In the session she said, "Look, you have 2 young kids, could you give it some time to see if you feel different?" So right now, it seems we are in damage control. Once and if that helps, she might begin to address my issues. But right now, it seems as though she tried to empathize with my W and validate her feelings, while trying to get my W to focus on my good qualities. My W doesn't care right now about what I do or how I may have been hurt. She is just indifferent and so withdrawn from me. It is like she has already made up her mind to move on. In the past few weeks, my WW has shown more anger, defiance, and independence towards me. This most likely indicates that the E has resumed to some extent. She is starting work earlier again and coming home later. She is working out more often and spending less time with the kids even though she does love them very much. Her housework has dropped off noticeably and she seems more concerned with what she is wearing than the state of her household. This is similar to how she was prior to D-Day, and she changed much after exposure since she was forced to take 3 weeks off work. She was more pleasant, worked out less, spent more time with the family, and took an interest in the household. Her relationships with me, her family, our friends are non-existent. She has distanced herself from everyone except her kids, and even that relationship is not what it used to be. Her relatively newer work friends seem to be most important to her right now. She has found faults in everyone who loves her almost as a mechanism to distance herself. She is still distant and cold, but we do talk about non-R stuff and she can be pleasant at times, especially when the kids do something funny and she looks at me with a smile. No talk of separation this weekend, so that was an improvement from last weekend where she was talking about a separation and separate bank account. She is probably still thinking about it, but hasn't verbalized it. My bro apologized to my W for how he initially reacted to her when I asked him for help during exposure. He told her he was sorry for yelling, but wants her to understand this would be a detrimental decision that affects many people, not the least of which is our kids. In the MC session, she said she had no more emotional feeling for me, which really hurt, but I was expecting to hear things such as that. I'm sure many others have heard similar things. I am going to the doctor tomorrow to ask for some antidepressants, not because I feel severely depressed, but to help me focus on my work and R. I find that I am thinking about my W and R far too much during the day and need something to help me with this. I figure that it can't hurt with the R either, since it will help me be in a better mood for most of the time. Boy, I want so bad to hold her and kiss her that it hurts me sometimes. I dream of the day where she tells me she wants to work on the M and give me a hug and kiss. My kids are really helping me with the incentive that I need to get through this. So, all in all, it was a better weekend than last weekend. Call it a baby step forward. I don't want her to feel that I don't care, but I want to also start showing her some care and affection, but I don't know how without it bothering her. Well, things have not changed much lately and seem to be in a state of constant limbo, but we did have a short R talk yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks. Last night at dinner, my W asked me what time our next MC session was, and I said that I was thinking of canceling it. I told her that I felt she didn't seem interested in going and I didn't want to force her. I know this is a DJ. She then told me how I expect to work on our marriage, to which I replied, "Do you want to work on our marriage?" To which she said, "I'm still here, aren't I?" She said, "Is this the kind of marriage you want?" To which I replied, "No, but we both need to make an effort to make things better." Then I apologized for the hurt that exposure caused her, but I didn't apologize for exposing, and told her why I did it. Then the topic of forgiveness came up, but this time she didn't say she will never forgive me as she usually says, but she said something about needing to forgive to move on. I can't remember the exact words, but the word never wasn't used, and that gives me some hope. She also mentioned that the exposure was another way that I humiliated her. Then she said she doesn't have anybody to turn to. I told her I will always be here for you. She responded by saying, "What if I wanted to go stay at my mom's place for a while? I can't even do that." I asked her if she noticed any change as me, and she replied that she saw the changes with how I interact with my kids. I told her that I would like to show her my changes towards her, but I can't since she doesn't want to accept them right now. She said if I were to try and fill her ends, it makes her upset. I noticed her sighing more over the last couple of days, taking deep breaths as if something is bothering her. She hasn't done this much lately while she has been in withdrawal from me, so maybe she is struggling with something. She did these a lot before D-Day and into late August, but then she seemed to disconnect from me and stopped sighing a much. Maybe I'm just over-analyzing. So, I'm considering this a very, very small baby step, since she didn't use the word never when the issue of forgiveness came up. Also, even though it wasn't exactly the way I would like to hear it, her comment about "I'm still here, aren't I?" was her way of telling me she is trying. She also packed me a lunch last night while she made the kids' lunches. So, I will continue to plan and see what happens. I hope our MC can begin to break down her wall a little and help her deal with the resentment she has. On another note, I installed a tape recorder in my W car this morning and listened to it tonight. Turns out she is still talking to OM for non-business issues. I highly suspected this, and her conversation was so nice and loving. Nothing incriminating, but plenty of love. She is still in the fog, it seems. I need to record some incriminating evidence so I can proclaim D-Day number 2. I think I have really been wanting to believe that there is no EA, but deep down my instinct, and the vents here, are telling me different. Why can't she just tell me? She is either in denial or just plain lying. Tomorrow my W is picking up her girlfriend, so I hope to get some good conversation there. She will definitely debrief her on last night's session and maybe make some nasty comments about me. On Friday I think she will be at OM location, so hopefully they go to lunch together in my W car and I get some really good info. It is sad that I am hoping to hear something that will validate my instincts. All I want to do right now is continue planning and start snooping again to confirm an E or PO. Well, the E is pretty much confirmed based on what I heard yesterday, but I would really like some concrete evidence. Yes, now that you mention it, I am relieved that she is still in contact, because it tells me there is a reason Plana doesn't seem to be working. You mentioned enabling the affair. Well, what are your suggestions to change this? Are you referring to stating my boundaries and exposing again? It looks as though they have pushed the EA further underground, but I will continue to look for the silver bullet. Is common for an EA to remain that for a long time, or will the attraction quickly for it to a PA? I hope to get some juicy info tonight, as my W will be driving with her work girlfriend, facilitator of the EA. Right now, I need to really maintain a strong plan so that plan B, if needed, will be more effective. I'm not used to my WW lying to me, so that is why it is so hard for me to think she is lying when she looks me in the eyes and tells me something. I am trying to grasp the concept that she is an alien right now and clouded by the fog. Last night I asked her if she spoke to and she told me he called her in the morning and all she told him was a letter was on its way to him that he needs to read. I don't believe that is all they talked about. She also left a long message for her boss regarding the transfer, so hopefully she will hear back today. She also told me she was appalled at my attempt at an NC letter, since it said I will try to be the wife he has been missing. I told her that it was wrong and it hurt me. Then she told me something that is the foggiest babble I have heard so far. She said it is not an affair, it was a moment of weakness. I just looked at her and left the room without saying anything. She seemed to be in a better mood last night, even though she came home from work early and lay on the couch with a blanket on her for a while. Yesterday she was given approval for a job transfer to a different office far away from Om. Her transfer is effective November 1st, and I think at that point I will insist we send a new NC letter and stick to my definition of NC, even though she says she will not go back to his office for the rest of the month. I can't trust her right now and will use the transfer date of November 1st as our new NC date. This morning I asked her if she was okay and she said no. I asked her if she intends to tell me if there is contact today, to which she said, I gave you my word. Please don't make this harder than it is. Well, her word obviously doesn't hold much water right now, and that is why I am very skeptical. Although it is tough to hear, I need to hear your criticism of the way I'm handling the current situation. This is all new to me and your support is priceless. Last night WW came home from work and immediately lay on the couch covered with a blanket. She was kind of staring off into space for a while. I asked her if there was contact, to which she said none. Is continually asking about NCLB. I don't see how to get around this. Also, my WW told me that she had not received a call from our MC to schedule her IC, so I called the MC and told her of the confirmed, as she replied that she now wants to see us together to avoid differing stories. It will be interesting to see how she deals with my WW now, given that my WW looked her in the face and told her there was nothing between her and Om. 2 days later I confirmed the PA. She has been very sympathetic to my WW, and I think she truly believed what she was saying. When I told my WW that I talked to MC, and after telling her of the she wanted to see us together, my WW got upset and slammed the door, saying, I bet you feel good knowing you were right. I am having trouble now getting over the lies. Do the lies ever end once the fog clears? I will not be able to live like this indefinitely. My in-laws are becoming very suspicious of my WW and are putting more pressure on her. They have asked me to hire a PI. If they only knew, I already know. I can see the pressure building in my WW. She is defiant, but sooner or later something will have to give. So, this is my question. On November 1st, when we hopefully recommit to a second NC, how do I enforce this? What if she breaks NC? I believe she is trying, even though it is not a 100% effort on her part. He said taking a vacation with WS right after NC is like sleeping with the enemy for a WS. So, my concept of NC, at least as it applies in my case, is to negotiate NC with WS in the hope that they got through withdrawal and allow the fog to clear. If I can get to that stage, I may have a chance to save my M. In-laws wanted to give me some money to hire a PI to see if Om was involved. If they only knew that I already have the goods. My in-laws have said they will completely disown and cut off my WW. The breakup of my family is due to an A. My mom-in-law is a woman of truth and character, and that is why my WW is in conflict with her right now. She watches my kids and I see her praying the rosary daily. My 1049 sees through the lies and is confronting her. My WW does not like this and has become confrontational with her. She treats me like a son, and in fact my bro-in-law called me last night to tell me he would be willing to use his holidays to spy on my WW. Sure, he is her brother, but a wrong is a wrong to him regardless of blood. These are people of extreme character, and that is why my WW is distancing herself from them. This is what my Bill told me last night. You know how my parents feel about you, so don't be afraid of my sister's act. If there is no M involved, they will support you. My in-laws' comment was wrong, but that will not change how I feel about her or my IL. She doesn't know the whole story either, and that has been further clouded by my WW babble to her. I highly respect her, for she displays character, honor, and truth. If it wasn't for their full support during this time, I don't know where I would be. My WW can't hide behind her lies anymore, and she knows I know the whole truth. My WW family is onto her and turning up the pressure. The OM knows that I know, and he might be scared for his job or personal safety. They both know I am capable of exposing again, and if I need to, I will pull the trigger to blast a light through the darkness. Well, I was in the area of my WW work and called her up to see if she wanted to go for a quick lunch. I was afraid she would say no, since she rejected my invitation to go out a couple of weeks ago. She hesitated for a while and then she agreed. I picked her up and we went for a quick lunch. It was awkward and she seemed to have trouble looking me in the eye at times. It was all small talk, but that is to be expected right now. She just doesn't seem to have any interest in me right now. I hope it is just the fog, and when she gets through her withdrawal, she will start to reconnect a little. Tonight, I offered to get some takeout for dinner with the kids and she also agreed. If she is going through withdrawal, should I just give her some time and space? She doesn't really seem to be angry or anxious, and I remember reading that these are symptoms. She just seems to want to get under her blanket and sleep when she is not eating or doing something else around the house. I'm curious as to what others have experienced with withdrawal, be it a BS or WS. I hate what she did to me. She took everything I had and smashed into a million pieces. My trust, my love, my friendship, my sense of safety, my future, everything. I hate her for what she did to me, and she has no remorse. I hate living like this every day, trying to be the best husband I can be while I get indifference. Her priorities are out the window. It seems her number one goal right now is looking good. If she is happy, it is not because of me, and that makes me sad. It is a riptide in the form of hopelessness that sucks me into the depths of despair. She had the nerve to call me a liar today. And she not see that she has betrayed me to the core or my soul? I feel crushed by the weight of her selfishness. I really wish the harm, and I can't help it. He took everything I had, used it for his own self-fulfillment. I feel a rage when I think of him and what he did to me and my family. She said he took her away from her problems and made her feel special. He was so natural. I don't know if I want her anymore after all the pain and hurt she has inflicted on me. She probably feels like she is making some huge sacrifice to try and work this out. How can I ever trust her again or feel safe with her? I know the OM email and want to send him an email to warn him that I will do anything to protect my family. How can someone who does something so dishonest, wrong, sinful, and immoral not be remorseful or repentant? I'm in a bad place right now and don't want to stay here too long, for I fear what it will do my soul. Betrayal by the one you love the most is a hurt that cannot be healed. The pain is too much. The hurt is unending. The sorrow is deep. Can we recover? Maybe. Can I recover? I don't know. And with all this, I still love her. How can love be so cruel? My comment: you have this affair on the ropes. I would suggest you really think hard about letting it, the affair, up for a breath. Exposing the full truth to your in-laws would be a suggestion that I would follow, and would probably be the final nail in the coffin of the affair. The first NC letter is already null and void. I don't get the impression that your WWC's contact is the evil it really is, and how dangerous it is to your marriage and family. I know that you are afraid, but sadly, I am not hopeful that this round of the affair will end any differently as the other rounds. She is being transferred in November, and no doubt probably secretly sees this as a last hurrah until then, at which point she will go further underground, if need be. Going to work on the next part after eating. I'll see you there.